So to start off, we got a gotta have a situation right here. This is like a third and forever. I think like maybe a third and 15. And you see you got Malik Nabers matched up against Stephon Gilmore. So, when we talk about elite receivers, I want to see, can you win those one-on-one matchups consistently, especially when you going up against the other team's top corner or one of the best corners in the NFL, which is Stephon Gilmore. So right here that the Giants sent Malik Nabers in motion to take away the option of Stephon Gilmore being able to press him at the line of scrimmage. So he just kind of ran straight past him right there. He got past him and just stacked him. And I mean, it really was just looking like a little simple skinny post route. Daniel Jones threw a pass, which was a very risky pass because obviously with Stephon Gilmore being in a trail position, that pass could have very easily been intercepted. But it like Stephon Gilmore, probably kind of misjudged the ball, and Malik Nabers just went up and made the catch. So you got Malik Nabers matched up at the top of the screen, one-on-one. So I'm not quite sure if this play was actually designed like this or did it just happen to happen like this. So they actually made them create like a natural pick or a natural rub route. So watch right here. The corner's kind of up like he's going to press, but he doesn't get his hands on him. And he just runs a simple like one-step drag across the field. And it makes Bobby Wagner and the corner run into each other, which slows down the corner temporarily. We're going to take another look at that again. Like right here. Watch this. Boom, ran straight into each other, and that slowed the corner down temporarily, which allowed Nabers to get some steps on him. And you see Nabers was out there just basically kind of giving out directions, probably saying, man, block the one that's most dangerous for me, and I'm going to make the other person miss. And he just did a good job at getting the first down. By the way, this was a guy to have a situation too, a 3rd and 11. And I like the toughness here because that safety came and laid a hit on him. Boom, right there. And he hopped right back up after that. So it shows that he got some grit to him as well. So right here, once again, at the top of the screen, you got Malik Nabers matched up with a cornerback one-on-one. The cornerback is playing off-man coverage, and he just runs a simple hitch and is able to make something happen after it. So, another category we talk about, too, when we talk about especially somebody who's like a ball carrier, a guy who can, whether it's a guy that's catching the ball and running or whether it's a running back that's getting a handoff and running, we talk about what can you do on your own, right? What can you do outside of the play going the way that it's supposed to go, outside of the offensive line holding up and protecting and allowing the quarterback to get the ball to you and you being able to separate from one, that's on your own too. But what can you do after you catch the ball? And right here, he shows the ability, his yards after the catch, ability to catch it right here, make this guy miss. And I just love this finish. Watch this stiff arm coming. Watch this stiff arm coming. Boom, right there. Get off me, son. So that's what I like to see right there, man. A good run after a catch and just a strong finish. So right here, we got another guy to have a situation. If you see, the Commanders are in a too-high look. So it looks like they were in cover 2 man, which was 2 high safeties and man-to-man underneath. So those guys just played over the top of everything to try to not give up anything deep. But you see where the weaknesses lied was underneath, especially in man-to-man coverage. And once again, they just did a good job at exploiting that matchup with Malik Nabers getting a drag route across the middle and just being able to catch the ball in stride and make something happen afterwards. And like I said, once again, it goes down to what can you do can you do on your own? And do you have the ability to be able to catch the ball and to be able to eat up more yardage after the catch, right? And that also creates explosive plays, and it also creates momentum for the defense, for the offense, being able to gain all those yards in just a quick time frame. And then also too, if you playing tempo offense, meaning that it's like it's constant offense, kind of really no huddle, then it kind of it becomes really draining to a defense to try to have to keep up with that. And that's when you give up. That's when weakness that's when discipline can start to kind of deteriorate and you start giving up big plays. But then once again, I like the ability to show that he has the level of physicality to want to finish strong. Once again, you've seen how he stiff armed the corner on the other play, and he also went for the stiff arm this time, and just the corner just did a good job at defending it. But most importantly, he was able to pick up the first down and some yards after moving the stick and putting them in prime field position to be able to put some points on the board. All right, once again on this play, you got Malik Nabers matched up at the top of the screen, one-on-one coverage. And the corner actually did a darn good job. Really, this was good coverage on the corner's end. This was just even better offense. If you look at the corner, he came down at pre-snap. It looked like he was showing that he was going to be in off coverage, but right before the ball was snapped, he came back down. So his line of scrimmage to press him. He did a good job at getting his hands on him. He didn't fall for the double move. He stayed on top of it, and then he kind of did a good job at trying to kind of funnel him towards the out of bounds line to take him out to play. But this was actually just for one, a good throw to get the ball to Malik Nabers to give him opportunity before the safety was able to make a play on it. And Malik just did a good job at being aggressive, going up and just high pointing the ball and just snatching it really out of the grasp of the cornerback, man. So this was just good defense, but just with even better offense on Malik Nabers' part. All right, so you got a red area possession up here. So, when we talk about the red area, obviously the red area is important. Me, I always say that the red area is every play, whether it's first, second, third, or fourth down, is I got to have it on possession because you want to make sure that you're coming up with touchdowns or field goals, points, period, when you get in the red area, preferably touchdowns. But you also have to be able to maneuver in a tight, confined space now because everything is condensed. So you have to be able to run routes like this right here where he kind of ran. So it just did a good job at selling the route, just the art of illusion, in a sense, to kind of get the corner thinking one thing. The corner didn't really get hands on him, so he wasn't able to really slow him down. And when he was able to kind of get on top of him, like right here, right there, he kind of was beat. Like, so, he kind of was just trying to figure out exactly where it was Malik Nabers was going, and just kind of having and creating those split seconds of him trying to anticipate exactly where he's going is all you need to be able to get that little bit of separation to be able to give your quarterback a lane to throw the ball at. And that's a good job of what he did. And honestly, when you look at the position of Malik Nabers, like kind of like right here, he has an option to go right and he has an option to go left. So like I said, once again, it gets a cornerback thinking, and you're already in a trail position because you didn't get physical with him at the line of scrimmage. You just allowed for him to free release. So you gave him options of what he can do. And this was just a phenomenal catch on his part to be able to secure this catch. Look at that. Look at how he was able to contort his body, spin and be able to get both feet down to secure the touchdown catch. So just a phenomenal route and just a phenomenal catch by Malik Nabers. So once again, right here, we got another red area possession. Like I said, man, every arm down in the red area for me is a guy to have a situation, no matter whether it's first, second, third, or fourth down. So you look at, this was an interesting coverage. You look at the outside corner initially was matched up on him, but once he stemmed upfield, the outside corner jumped and took the running back out the backfield, or took the slot out the backfield, and the corner that was on the inside ended up taking Malik Nabers. But if you look at the corner on the inside initially, look at how far inside he was. You know what I mean? He was shaded all the way inside as if he was anticipating on guarding the guy right there. But he was so far in shaded that when he tried to kind of get back on top of Malik Nabers, and Malik Nabers kind of just gave him a nud, a lean as if he was going to go outside, he jumped outside and, stemmed it back inside for a slant. And it just was an easy touchdown catch for him. So that was an interesting coverage right there. I'm not quite sure if that was communicated and that was intentional, or if that just was incidental and Malik Nabers just took full advantage of it. But nevertheless, man, just a phenomenal art of deception. We're giving him a lean to this side as if he was going to go out and then come back inside. Like I said, man, it's route running. A lot of times it's the art of deception, is to get your opponent thinking that you're going to do one thing and do the complete opposite. Basically, the nuances for the knockout punch. So this was a beautiful play right here, man. This was a 3rd and 4, so this was a gotta have it situation. And once again, you got the matchup that you want. You got your number one guy. Your gotta have a guy, which for the New York Giants is Malik Nabers, matched up on the outside, and that don't look like that's the Cowboys' best corner. To me, the Cowboys' best corner would have been Diggs. So idealistically, that's where you want to go. And this is just a good job at the knockout punch. Now, once again, I know I didn't explain that on the previous clip. When you might say, what's the knockout punch? Most boxers will tell you the knockout punch is the punch that you don't see coming. That's why feints, that's why setups and all of those things are key, because more times than not, you get them focused on one thing and you hit them with the other. And that's exactly what Malik Nabers does right here. Let me take another look at that again. You look at number 25, he's playing off-man coverage, and that probably was a tendency that he had to be a little aggressive to try to, maybe come downhill, either undercut the route or to just be able to make sure he secured the tackle right here. And Malik Nabers does a good job at the setup. Being able to really sell it. Obviously, corners are going to be looking at the hips to see when you drop your hips, and that's kind of how they're going to determine how they're going to break on the ball. And he does a good job at that, breaking down and giving him that out fake, that out jab to make it seem as if he's going to be breaking down, and he just keeps it upfield and just really puts him in the blender, man. If it wasn't for number 28 being able to get back there, this was a touchdown guaranteed. But this was just a phenomenal route by Malik Nabers. All right, so you got Malik Nabers matched up one-on-one on the bottom of the screen with the corner over here, number, 26 on Bland. So, man, honestly, this was really just a good throw and a good catch. Drew Lock was able to put the ball in good position. They kind of had like a high-low bracket. It was some type of some type of too high shell to try to probably take away the deep ball. But obviously, the safety did a good job of just kind of reading Drew Lock's eyes and seeing exactly where he wanted to go with the ball, and was able to try to get over the top of it. But that was just a good pass for Drew Lock to be able to fit it underneath, over the top of Deron Bland, but to put it in a position to where Malik Nabers has a shot at the ball without having to possibly take a hit from the safety. So that was just a good throw on Drew Lock's end. But then once again, just a good catch by Malik Nabers as well. And I always talk about, it's easy to make the catches when the ball is put right there in between your numbers, whether that's on the slant, whether that's on a hitch, or whether that's even on the go ball with a one-on-one coverage. Now, when we having to try to fit it in tight windows, when you have a guy underneath and a guy over the top right against the sideline, now can you make those difficult catches. And more times than not so far from what we've seen breaking down film on Malik Nabers, he has been able to make those catches. So once again, right here, we got another one-on-one matchup on the outside. And by the way, too, this is one thing I want to make clear with Malik Nabers as well. Just imagine. So he started his season off with Daniel Jones. We all know how that situation went. And then he finished the season, it looks like, with Drew Lock. And we all know how that situation went. So just imagine what he's going to be able to do now with having a more consistent presence at quarterback, whether it be Russell Wilson, whether it be Jameis Winston. But now we're going to get into this. So this is for the young receivers that's watching this. Now, notice that how when Malik Nabers makes his move, he's closing the distance on the corner, right? He's threatening the corner space. I see a lot of guys that make moves at the line of scrimmage, but they're not moving at all. And it's like that's making 0% progress. When he's making his move, he's also closing the distance as well. Now on to Drew Lock. If you put this ball out ahead of Malik Nabers, that's a touchdown by far. And there was no safety help. So you didn't have the excuse of saying, oh, well, I had to try to fit it into a tight window because of the over the top guy and the underneath guy. If you put this ball out in front of Malik Nabers, this is a touchdown. He underthrows the ball. And then Malik Nabers, once again, what can you do on your own? Just does a good job at being able to readjust and make the catch. All right, here's once again, you got Malik Nabers matched up on the outside one-on-one. And, I mean, it's against off coverage again. He just does a good job at, once again, man, what can you do on your own? It would look like it was just like kind of like a little simple, like quick little slant route, was a quick little throw. He was able to catch it. Alontae Taylor missed the tackle, and the safety came in, took a bad angle at it, and he just was able to make both of those guys miss and then eat up some additional yardage as well. So, once again, like I say, man, all of these things right here are things that plays that factors into games being won and lost. Like I say, football is a game of inches, right? So if as a defense we stop him right there, who knows if they're able to get a first down, right? They might, even if we hold them to a fourth down, it's a field goal. 3 points is better than giving up 7. But once we are kind of disciplined in our technique, you miss a tackle. Now he eats up additional yardage. Now he puts them in even more prime real estate to be able to put points up on the board. But once again, man, Malik Nabers just does a good job at showing you what he can do on his own on this play right here, man. Just being able to, pick up the first down on top of eat up some additional yardage to put his team in a better position. So right here, once again, you got Malik Nabers matched up on the outside one-on-one with a corner, and they had a free play, so he just Drew Lock just threw the ball up and allowed for him to make a play on it. But once again, notice that when he's giving his move at the line of scrimmage, he's not stationary giving that move. He's moving, closing the distance, and threatening the cornerback space as he's making that move. But once again, it just was good coverage on the cornerback's end. It just was an even better play on Malik Nabers' end. Drew Lock kind of once again underthrew the ball, which probably could have possibly been a touchdown. But then again, the corner probably had good position in terms of leverage on him, being over the top of him. So if that was the case, then throwing it back to his back shoulder was the smart decision. And obviously, that's one of the hardest passes in football to defend, are those perfectly placed back shoulder throws. So right here on this play, man, this is just a prime example of get the ball to your playmaker's hands and just let him do the rest. Once again, man, this was just like a little tunnel screen route, wide receiver screen, where they just got the ball in his hands and he just did the rest of it, man. He did a good job at kind of just weaving his way through through blockers, kind of allowing his blockers to, set up. But really, he just did a good job, honestly, too, just separating from the defense. You see good balance right there, being able to kind of run through that arm tackle there. So that shows you that he not only has good balance, but he also has strength in his legs, man. So like I say, man, it's a lot to like about Malik Nabers, man. From his ability to make tough catches, to his ability to be able to pick up, yards after the catch, and to create those explosive plays downfield, just like this one right here. So you got Malik Nabers matched up on the bottom of the screen once again in man-to-man coverage. So this is another embodiment of what I'm saying in terms of the quarterback situation. So maybe this consistency with this year's quarterback, whether it be Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, or even possibly Jackson Dart, will capitalize on the opportunities that they have had that I've seen from breaking down film. So like I said, once again, you got a one-on-one matchup. It looks like a single high safety, and Malik Nabers has him beat right there. So even if he was to lead the ball and throw the ball towards the back corner of the end zone, the safety still would have never been in position to be able to make a play on that. But once again, he underthrows this ball, and Malik Nabers has to readjust his body to be able to come back underneath to make a tough catch against, having to fight back underneath to try to get position when he had already had him beat. So once again, man, like I say, a good quarterback that puts that towards the back of the end zone, man, that's an easy touchdown. That's an easy walking touchdown for 6. But he underthrows it, and Malik Nabers just has to be Malik Nabers and make a difficult catch once again, bailing out Drew Lock on a horrible throw. So once again, man, you got Malik Nabers right here on the bottom of the screen, and he just does a good job at, once again, man, being able to get the ball in his hands and just make something happen after with run after the catch. Just look at how he's able to split this double team right here. Let's take a look at that. Just look at this. Boom. Right there, catch that, get upfield. How he's able to split that double team and just able to separate away from the defense, man. So, like I said, man, it's a lot to like about this guy, man. You like his speed, like his playmaking ability, like his difficult catch ability. We've seen several plays where it was supposed to be a touchdown and Drew Lock underthrew him and he had to come back underneath, readjust to make a catch. We've seen several plays where they just got the ball to him in space if they were playing off coverage, and he just was able to eat up yards after the catch, similar to this one right here. So, and we've seen that he has some grit to him too. We've seen a couple plays where he had to take some hits, in order to secure a catch, and he was able to do that. So, man, it's a lot to like about him. And once again, I'm curious to see how things are going to work out for him this year with having a more consistent quarterback presence. So, a lot of these plays that were supposed to be impossible touchdowns, especially if it's Russell Wilson, because we know how good Russell Wilson is at throwing a deep ball. Maybe those plays that go from plays where he's having to come back underneath and try to make a difficult catch to where he's just able to get the throw over his shoulder and walk into the end zone for a touchdown. But, man, if you guys did enjoy this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, make sure that you got that notification bell turned on. That way you'll be notified every time I upload, man. Because as you guys can see, I'm uploading, I'm dropping content every day. So you don't want to miss that. And I'll see y'all in the next video.